It's the day after Christmas, and I'm heading down to Merus Adventure Park in Texas. Just a quick little trip to get out, clear my mind, try out some new camping stuff. Let's get to it. We're on the road now. Got rolling maybe a little bit before 7. A foggy day, foggy morning. That's okay, I like the fog.
The drive was pretty uneventful. It's like 8.5 hours from Kansas City. And maybe I should have started taking a hint here that the closer you get to your campsite, the more and more windmills you see, that you should probably be prepared for some wind in your future.
I've made it to camp, set up my kitchen. I got the awning out. I'm just really impressed with this campsite. It's right on the edge of a cliff and has a heck of a view. Man, Merus is a pretty cool place from what I can tell so far. This canyon, and it's something else. You got to be here to experience it. Can't take pictures and fully appreciate it.
Hello, sorry, quick interjection from future Dane here. I wanted to fill in some plot holes that I didn't really get to cover while I was out in the field, just didn't come to mind and didn't film them correctly. So I guess the first thing that I want to cover, one of the goals of this trip was to get some more time behind my new camera that I'm filming on right now too. I just want to figure out what accessories I might want to add to this. I kind of like to build things up slowly rather than buy a huge purchase all at once. So I'm sorry for the audio and the wind noise. It will get better in the future. And then another goal that I had for the trip was to continue testing out my electric camp kitchen. I had been kind of frustrated with how gas stoves perform in the wind and how difficult it was to bake while camping. The technology has really improved over the past couple of years, so it's viable now to have an electric camp cooking setup. I have a 1000 watt-hour battery under the hood in the 4Runner, and then I got this EcoFlow Delta 2. It's again about 1000 watt-hours, and this has a built-in AC inverter, so it can power this air fryer that I've thrown in the back of the 4Runner, and I've also added a small electric induction cooktop burner, and I also picked up an electric thermos, so I'll talk about some of that stuff later in the video. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, be sure to like and subscribe. I'd like to do a YouTube live kind of thing, but I want to make sure that I'm able to reach everybody who's interested in this kind of stuff, so let's get back to the video.
Finished eating dinner, had some Chinese leftovers that brought out in the fridge. Yeah, and this view just isn't getting old. I've got just a little bit of daylight left, so making some tea. I've got some tunes going on my little Bluetooth speaker. A little bit of breeze is picking up, so probably gonna head in early tonight. But I did want to introduce one of the items that I've picked up as part of my conversion to going fully electric. So in the past, with a lot of my cooking, I had used a jet boil for decades, since the early 2000s. It's very top heavy, so when you're starting to live with toddlers and babies that like to grab things that they don't know what they are, so having a jet boil that has fire and boiling water is not ideal for a camp that's toddler friendly. I picked up an electric thermos that runs off about 500 watts AC power and boils water in about, we'll call it like 13 minutes. And then it'll just keep it at that temperature so you can turn it on at the start of your meal and have hot water by the time you're done eating, and then some hot water for tea after that. So this is that electric thermos. I've set it to 195 degrees to make some tea. And so it's just going to hold that temperature for 12 hours until I turn it off. But yeah, it's getting a little chilly, so I'm going to make some tea to keep me warm as I finish cleaning up and listen to some music before the sun's fully down.
Yeah, the sun went down really quick after this, so I just crashed out and called it a night.
Good morning. Last night was not the best night of sleep. I think I had a little bit too much caffeine yesterday. Stayed up a little later than I should have, watching the Chiefsaholic documentary. And then, kind of a really cool thing happened last night. As I was just laying there, getting ready to go to sleep, I listened, and all around me there was just complete silence. Just not a sound. Just amazing, amazing feeling. And then what must have been 4 hours later, that quiet was broken and the wind started picking up, and it has not relented since. It's really gusty out there, kicking up dirt. You can probably feel or see the frame shaking. The gusts are pretty strong, and yeah, it's hard to sleep through that this morning. Thought about trying to cook some breakfast, and it's just too miserable out there. Just going from the tent into here, I can feel the dust and grit in my teeth. So I think I'm gonna start my day, start driving, and get down into the canyon, and maybe it'll be a little less windy down there, and I can enjoy my day better down there.
This was a stop along the rim at the north side of the park.
Man, the trails are super fun. I've been running a blue today, and sometimes blues, depending on where you're going, can be a little bit uneventful. Maybe they've got a rock here and there, or a little ledge, or a little place where you gotta get out and check. But this was like nonstop, up and down and around, super tight, and some really steep climbs, which I love a good climb. Yeah, having a blast. The wind is a little calmer out here than it was at the campsite, so yeah, we'll get some waffles and maybe some fried eggs going. These eggs cooked incredibly fast on the induction burner. Pretty much put them in, set it to, I started at about 300 or 250, somewhere in there, and literally a minute or two later, they were done. So now I've got the waffles going. Looks like we've got just a couple minutes. Let's see how our battery is doing over here as well. This looks like we've used around 10% of the battery for our breakfast. Pretty happy with that. All right. How about some toasty waffles to go with our fried eggs? Roughing it.
So after breakfast, I quickly found my first wheel lift of the trip, and the day was only getting more and more intense as things went along. So I didn't do as much filming as I wanted to, but suffice to say, it was a lot of fun.
Well, made it into camp today. I've got about an hour of daylight left, so I'm trying to do some chores and get dinner going before too long here. Had a good time running the blues and the greens, getting warmed up. Up around the rim, there's some spectacular views, just super cool to check out. And then I decided to try my luck on a black trail, and I finished it. I finished Kate the Great. It's one of the black trails out here that goes to the Meadows campground, but unfortunately there was also some damage sustained. I've been lucky the past 6-7 years that I've owned this car, never had any panel damage, so here's the first one. Used the sliders quite a bit as well today. That trail is rated for 35-inch tires and like a 2 to 3 inch lift, and I am on 33s and like half an inch, 1 inch lift, so I was a little bit outgunned, kind of knew it going in, and maybe with a little bit more patience I could have made it out unscathed, but yeah, it's a really challenging trail, really fun trail, just up and down and crazy obstacles, so enjoyed it. Gonna have to buff that out. I think I'm baking a pizza for dinner tonight, so probably won't start that for a little bit, but got the air fryer fired up, and that one's super simple. Just throw it on the rack and then we'll have dinner ready.
While the pizza cooked, I made a little side salad, had to capture this video evidence to prove to my wife that I'm eating my greens out on the trail.
Doing a little bit of prep for breakfast tomorrow. Got some croissants that I cut up into pieces, and then Amanda prepared this egg custard French toast mixture that I'm going to pour over the croissants and let them marinate in that tonight. And then we'll bake it up in the morning and have baked French toast.
Yeah, pizza turned out great. We've been using this thing at home a lot more than our normal oven. Just cooks things really well, really fast. And off camera, I even baked some cookies. Again, the light faded on me pretty quick. I got a little alcohol campfire going. They don't allow wood fires in the park, so this is a nice little alternative. Yeah, then I crashed out.
Good morning. I slept much better last night. Down in the canyon here, the wind is much less, so a lot quieter last night. And even though it was much colder last night, without the wind it felt much warmer, so we just about hit freezing last night. I think it got down to 34 or so. And the downside to being down in the canyon is that you don't get any of the morning sunlight, so we're still in the shadows here. Probably going to be a bit before we get some direct sunshine. But the temperature's on the rise. I think we're almost up to 40 now. Got my caffeine with me, start kicking this thing off, and I put the French toast in the toaster oven, so it takes a little while to bake, but hoping that turns out and looking forward to breakfast. Today, I think I'm going to take it easy on blue and green trails, maybe do a little bit more filming. Yesterday with the black trail, it was just so intense. Every turn had a new huge obstacle behind the turn. So I didn't get to film as much as I wanted to, just because of the difficulty of that trail and how involved it was, kind of being a white knuckle drive for the kind of rig I've got. So yeah, maybe we'll take it a little bit easier today, do a little bit more filming, and see what's out there. Last night kind of happened again, where the wind died down completely,
and it was just total and utter silence down here. No highway noise, no car noise. Heard an owl, but otherwise, like, just extremely quiet and peaceful. Talk about considering yourself king of infinite space. Yesterday, once I got off the rim, I didn't see another car the whole day, so it kind of feels like I've got this entire canyon to myself, which is pretty cool, really isolating. There's absolutely no cell phone signal down here, so yeah, just a lot of time to think, be in your own head, enjoy your own company. Yeah, really enjoying it. After the adventure yesterday, getting a little bit of time to decompress and enjoy being out here. Just look at how this turned out. The fruit's breaking down, got a nice golden custard in there. I can't wait for this to be cool enough to eat. It smells amazing. Alright, let's give it a shot. Still hot. Oh. Amazing. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Croissant, French toast bake. That's 2 thumbs up from me. So I've been using this electric thermos quite a bit on this trip. Obviously I could boil water on my induction cooktop, but for things like dishwater or making a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, this thing's been the ticket. So a couple advantages here. This will boil more than a jet boil. So this will do a whole liter, whereas like a jet boiler, you're kind of limited to like that 2-cup range. It's more like half a liter. This you can set the temperature. So like for dishwater, I set it to 140 degrees. So I'm not using as much energy. Don't have to worry about it cooling down as much before you can get in there with your hands for cleaning. And then the other one, it's a whole lot safer. So like with a young baby that should be camping with us soon, having a jet boil that's kind of top heavy on top of, open flame, and having the ability to spill boiling water didn't sound ideal. So this is pretty self-contained. If it does tip over, it's not going to get boiling water on anybody. You can set the temperature if you want to get your dishwater ready. Just leave it sitting there. It'll stay hot until you're ready for it. It has some thermos capabilities. Like, it's a little bit insulated. I wouldn't say it's anywhere near like a quality Stanley thermos or anything like that. But even without power, this will keep the water warm, and you can carry it around camp, take it with you if you want to have hot beverages somewhere. So kind of a cool little item. It was fairly affordable too. So another new item in my electric camping arsenal. Even leaving my campsite here in the morning, you can see this big dip, and it's gonna be a fun day when you're turning on 4-wheel drive, A-track, just to get out of your campsite. I'm like 15 feet into the trail called Middle Earth, and then there's this stuff. Like, what is this? This is supposed to be a blue trail. You've probably heard that the camera never does obstacles justice, and that's true, but you can see 3 of the 4 tires at some point are spinning in the air, so yeah, this is pretty gnarly. Man, I just love obstacles like this where it looks like it's going to be a big challenge, and
Man, the 4Runner's just so capable, just like right out of the box. Throw on some tires. I've got like less than an inch lift on there, and A-track and lockers make it look easy.
In this little segment, I'm just showing a handful of photogenic little obstacles, but the whole park is really dense with fun little sections. Kate the Great was just, I'd say, hundreds and hundreds of obstacles, up and down, steep segments, hills and bumps and rocks and washouts. Just a whole lot of fun if that's what you're into.
Watchman, worry my old friend, worry on the highway, worry on my mind, worrying the money, seeking you will find.
I followed this short hiking trail off the side of the road, and it led me to this. It's a big cave. You can feel the cold air coming out of it. Let's go take a peek inside. It starts to get pretty tight in here. Of course, I left my headlamp back at the car. See some like crystals in this broccoli type stuff. Man, so that keeps going. If I had a headlamp and somebody else with me, I might give that a shot, but that's pretty cool.
And before I knew it, it was time to set up camp and get settled in for the evening. The campsite was by this really cool dry creek bed that I'm sure is less dry during rainy parts of the year, but I spent some time exploring, and it was the perfect place to try to find some animal activity. Saw lots of footprints. And just kind of enjoy the space around where I was camping for the evening. Kind of feel like I was getting a little bit more in touch with the area. I heard coyotes every night, so it was cool to see their footprints down there in the creek bed. And yeah, made my way back to camp, cooked some dinner, and again, the light left really quick. Spent the evening with some of my neighbors chilling out around their propane campfire.
Getting on the road early.
With the sun coming up so late and I kind of wanted to get back home to Amanda and Sloan, I headed out even before the sun was coming up.
Yeah, that is a washout right there. Let's see. Yeah, that is a massive washout. It's gotta be 7 feet deep. Let's give it a go. What is the line?
I didn't see any coyotes, but I did get to see these mule deer in the morning. They didn't seem too bothered by me. My route out in the morning followed another dry creek bed. There were some pretty wild obstacles that I wasn't expecting, but Pretty cool to be going under these big overhangs like that. So this should be the point in time where I tell you that I made it to the top of the rim again. I'm at McCabe Tower, and I had a great time. And say goodbye and tell everybody to go check it out.
So post-mortem on the electric camping cook setup, I think it performed really great. That French toast was amazing. It cooked the eggs super fast. Just really impressed by how fast this stuff all works, and it's kind of all set it and forget it, whereas if you're cooking over gas, you're kind of worried about burning things or leaving the flame unattended. So this is kind of like it's really relaxing by comparison. There's another YouTuber called Merus Adventure. I'll link to a couple of his videos in the description. But he's also been experimenting with an electric camping setup. And his assessment was that you really, at bare minimum, needed 1,000 watt hours to have a viable camping cook setup. And really, 2,000 watt hours is about where you can start to be comfortable with charging up, depending on how much driving you're doing every day and what kind of meals you're cooking. And I tend to agree with that. In addition to running the air fryer, the induction cooktop, the Thermos, I'm also running the standard fridge. Got some camp lights, GMRS radio, GPS. So it all kind of adds up. And I think that my setup it's comfortable for what I'm doing with it. So I think that's it for now. Leave comments and questions below if you have any questions about the electric cooking setup or Merus Adventure Park down in Texas. Like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. And I guess if you made it this far, you might be interested. I've got a season, so it's like 11 episodes of the time that we took that Forerunner and shipped it over to Iceland and camped out of it for the summer. So that was a lot of fun to make, really cool adventure. And then earlier this summer, I did a solo trip out to Newfoundland. So that's a mini series, it's like 4 episodes. Both those links below. So check those out in the meantime, and cheers.